And the head coach of Northern Iowa is Bobby Peterson in her 26th season, winningest coach in Missouri Valley history. She is a 10-time Missouri Valley Coach of the Year, including picking up her 4th in a row at the conclusion of the regular season this year. She is an institution in Midwest volleyball. On the other side, another long-tenured head coach, Beth Lanier, in her 36th season at the helm of Utah volleyball. The two coaches, both of them said they have so much respect for the other. They've crossed paths a bunch, both being at their schools for so long.
I have so much respect for both of these coaches. Coach Lanier is the longest tenured coach in NCAA volleyball right now. And I mean, you cannot talk about college volleyball and two coaches that do it the best, and you cannot not mention Coach Peterson and Coach Lanier. Just what they do within their culture, it's so similar what they do, and you just have so much respect. And even in talking with both of them in the prep for this week, I mean, they both just admire what each other does within their programs, and I'm just really excited to see what they can do here today.
Utah comes in at 15-14 overall. They were squarely on the bubble coming into Selection Sunday, and it was a nervous time in their locker room. On the other side, UNI knew where they were headed. They won the MVC tournament outright. Utes are in the red and white, Panthers in the white and purple, and we are just about set to start the NCAA volleyball tournament. First up to serve for Utah, Nea Maria Yoki, and she starts it with an ace. What a way to open the tournament for Utah.
And it's something that we're going to be looking for in the Utes. Is one of their strengths is their serving. And so what you're going to see today is playing with the strength of their serve, not just the pace of it, but you're going to watch and you're going to see some depth that they're going to play with.
Panthers keep this one up, go right to the outside. And they're looking for Dykstra, who was really good in this building. You and I were here for the Blue Jay Invitational, Shannon. Dykstra had quite a tournament. 19 kills against Rice, 17 against Louisville, and then 9 in the finale against Creighton. She was all tournament for that weekend. Booth at the net, gets it to the middle, and Bixby.
We're going to get a
net violation. Is that what we got there?
Yeah, on the middle, net violation from the Panthers.
And good swing. She's just got to keep herself out of the net.
And that's something that UNI wants to do, is they want to get their middles involved early, and actually that's what the numbers say. The numbers say that they are going to run that middle on that first contact a lot, and so that's something that Utah is definitely going to want to slow down within their service and attacking behind that line, and so just an unfortunate net violation there for the Panthers.
Good serving run to start for Yoki, the sophomore out of Finland. Another good serve. Back row attack, touched on the way through. Wilton LeBoy will set outside, pushed across. Well done, Lavani Key Powell. You followed Utah volleyball. You might remember at the start of the season, she was wearing a libero shirt, Shannon.
And you're going to see undersized outsides, they're going to play with their range, right? So they're not going to come in and maybe, jump out at you within their physicality and what they do with their heavy arm, but rather they're going to show their range and their roll shots.
Back row attack for Hartman, just touched the tape there. Utah, the roll shot kept alive. They'll reset it. Wilton LeBoy, near side, that's rejected. Stays on the Utah side. And again, Key Powell. And a 5-0 run to start for Utah prompts the timeout from Bobby Peterson. Home of the Blue Jays, home of the NCAA tournament more years than not in recent history. Utah starting with a 5-0 run. And Shannon, sometimes it's the team that can settle in first in the big environment. It looks like Utah's pretty settled right now.
Well, it's such the boring narrative that people want to often say, because it's the easy one to say, but serve and pass is really what has set the tone for Utah.
And again, Key Powell. She has been on it early on in this match.
And it's crazy because you look at the kill leaders. You have Gabadlo going into this match with 469 kills versus Key Powell's 122. So when you can start a match and have different contributing attackers that are taking the load early for you, that's really going to set yourself up for success.
Good set from Booth, but Elliott couldn't get it to go. Rolled across by Moiai. Good second attack for Reese Booth. Manufactured a point for UNI when they needed badly, trailing 6-0.
Just a really smart call there from Booth, as it's not often when you see setters call their number, but she sees that they're not going with her, sees that donut wide open, and calls her own number.
Dykstra to serve it. Wilton LeBoy sets the back row. Booth. Outside, Hartman. No, excuse me, that was Elliott who got it to go. Isabel Elliott, the redshirt freshman, who was MVC All-Freshman this year. 2 quick points for the Panthers. Here's Dykstra to serve again. And that's long.
We'll see early on. You see Utah's a little bit more settled in right now. You have UNI with a couple unforced errors, whether it be the net violation or serving errors, passing errors, things that if you're Coach Peterson, you're hoping that they can settle in.
And Key Powell gives it right back with another service error the other way. She was really good throughout the season. Top 10 in the Big 12 in aces per set. That was not one of her best. A freebie for the Panthers. Now 7-3 Utah in front. Wilton LeBoy with the high bump set. Booth racks it. A little scramble for the Panthers. Hartman touched on the way through. Near side. Moiai with the slam. Little complaint on the UNI side. They thought she threw it down.
She just threads the needle here. Not much space to work with, but she finds enough room to just work that right on the outside of that blocker's hand.
And Moiai will do the serving now, and she's a good one. Back row, Dykstra didn't quite get clean contact on that from our angle. 9-3 Utah.
And again, we're just seeing some uncharacteristic, unforced errors from UNI, just settling in. Like I said, Utah's doing a really good job of forcing that pressure from behind the service line. So if you're the Panthers, you need to take a deep breath, settle in, start with that passing. And both teams, actually, John, they graduated a lot.
Yes.
And they also graduated. The main thing that both coaches talked about was how they all have new passers within their primary passing systems. And so for UNI, just settling down a little bit so that they can allow their middles to work and open up more for their pins.
Good swing, Gabadlo. See why she's a 2-time All Big 12 first teamer.
Gabadlo now in that front row as Key Powell just recently rotated to the back row. So you'll see both her and Yoki. I mean, those are just 2 really good pins that they're able to utilize. So that'll put a lot of load on UNI's defense.
Leah Wilton LeBoy serves it long. That 5-point run to start the match for Utah is the difference right now. And awkwardly off the hands of Jaden Peterson. Yoki able to put one down. 11-5 now, Utah.
Badlow tries to cut that ball. Gets away from her a little bit, but lucky for her, had Peterson sucked in a little bit.
Badlow serves it into the net. So what was a great start from the service line for Utah has gone a little bit sour here in the middle of the set.
Yeah, I think I jinxed them because they were rolling back there. And that's something as a coaching staff, you want them to not only hit their zones, but you want to be doing it aggressively. And we're seeing that the unforced errors on both sides, it's not like they're missing their serves aggressively. I mean, we're missing low, middle of the tape. We're missing out of bounds, and it's not aggressively out of bounds. So, both teams, while you want to have that risk and that reward, you definitely want to see these serves being missed a little bit more aggressively.
Pushed up by Golden. Comes back to the UNI side. Dykstra rejected. Yoki served an ace to start the match. Gets involved in the block there with Moiai.
Just a really solid block setup. Patient, getting those hands low and over. I'm sure UNI will learn from that and really work to change some things up here offensively.
Dykstra blocked again. She has found no success so far. That's blocked. The Utah block has come alive.
And that's something that Coach Lanier talked about in regards to their block, is being able to spread it out and go one-on-one.
14-6, Utes up big here in the first set. The dance is on here in Omaha in more ways than one. Utah leads at 14-6. John Schreiner, Shannon Smolinski here with you. Happy to be here for another year of NCAA volleyball in Omaha. Shannon, this is a great start for Utah.
It is. I mean, it started from behind the service line, kind of ran into some service errors, but just a really balanced attack. They're playing with different matchups, different lineups, and now they have Gabadlo in the front row with Yoki. So it's a really hot start for what is a really strong serving team in Utah, as well as a really strong offensive team.
We'll see if the freshman McKenna Payne can keep it rolling out of the timeout. She cannot. Good timeout for Bobby Peterson to break up the scoring run there.
And again, if you're missing a serve, you're seeing that ball being contacted flat and clean. And you saw on that one that comes off of Payne's, it's rolling. She's kind of rolling the top of her hand over. So, that's something that, whether it's the momentum, the toss, you really want to be aggressive with that.
Reese Booth on the serve. Wilton LeBoy tries to use the middle. Bixby got the block, but it was out of bounds.
For the Utes, Moyahi is just such a physical middle. She works so well laterally. She's got the length. She's got the ability to not only be an offensive threat, but also leads the team in block at 119 going into today's matchup.
Booth sets back row. Once again, kept up by Utah. Got outside the antenna on that far side. That's a point for UNI. And Shannon, the points for Northern Iowa so far in this first set, only 3 of them have come on kills. They have 8.
Yeah, and they're in a 6-2. So the differences in these teams is UNI is in a 6-2, which means they have 2 setters on the floor. So when the setter rotates into the front row position, they'll sub them out and they'll put in a right side attack for them. And so what we're seeing with Utah is they only have the 1 setter, so they're in what we call a 5-1. And for UNI, I mean, the strength of the 6-2 is the balanced attack, which allows one-on-one matchups. It allows parity where you're keeping your blockers and your backcourt on their heels. And so right now they're having a hard time getting a rhythm, if you will. I know that their passing has struggled a little bit, but even in that last opportunity, it was a pretty good set that was on the net, and Reese just kind of missed that opportunity, or maybe the middle was a little bit late, but just some uncharacteristic things that UNI usually does a really good job of spreading out that offense. And
without those service errors, Utah might be even further in front than they are at 17-9. That's their 5th of the first set. So they've given 5 of UNI's 9 points on service errors. Moiai's a little behind her. Bixby with a good dig. They go far side. Rice couldn't get it to fall. Kept alive. Good dig. Hartman, huge swing, but it comes down on the Panthers side. 18-9 Utes.
And something that UNI really relies on is their outsides. Both Hartman and Dykstra carry a large load for their offense, and neither of them are really able to be too productive on that left pin. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of the right side set like we just saw there, and more middle productivity, because right now the Utes are definitely prepared to go against the lefts of UNI and take that risk of, hey, if they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us with our middles and their opposite. So if I'm UNI, I'm probably going to look to utilize those 2 a little bit more.
Golden the serve. Chased Wilton LeBoy back. Gabadlo down the line. Got it. Great shot from Cam Gabadlo.
Schaefer just gave her a little bit too much line to work with, not a ton, but when you're talking about a player that's on, all Big 12 first team, I mean, if you give her an inch, she's going to take a mile.
Golden set to the middle. It was touched on the way through. Near side, Yoki off the arm of Peterson. It's another Utah point. They lead by 10, and they're first to 20.
Yeah, a lot of Utah's kills have come from down the line. I mean, it's not that UNI is not taking it out within their block, but they're either A, they got to get there a little bit quicker, or they have to do a better job of sealing that outside hand to eliminate those free swings down the line.
And another service error gives it back. 6th of the first set. See if UNI can settle in a little bit. Dykstra's back out there in the front row. It's been unsuccessful so far. Wilton LeBoy to the middle. Boy, it just looks like Utah is operating at a high clip on offense right now.
And that's a freshman. That's a 6'5" freshman, and she is using all of that 6'5" frame as just going up there, using the court. It's a really good swing there from field.
Dykstra got a tool, finally. That's the first kill for Lily Dykstra on her 6th attack.
And I won't say that Utah is necessarily the biggest team, but that is something that UNI, within, you know, maybe the differences of the physicality that they're playing against within conference, is maybe some of the swings and that contact point that they might get away with over the last month or so. It might take them a little bit of time. It's not that they aren't capable of having that range or having that contact point. It's just something that, you know, let's let them settle in. And I would not be surprised to see a little bit more of effective swings from the outsides here.
Golden sets middle. Bixby couldn't get it to fall. And that tipped out of bounds, though. Point for UNI. They stay alive here, 22-13. They're going to need a big run here at the end of this set to get back in it.
And whether that big run amounts to, you know, closing the gap here in set 1, but more than anything, you just need to be building on momentum for, I mean, it's 5 sets, right? We're in the tournament. We are trying to build off of something, and if we go down in that set 1, let's at least try to learn from what happened in set 1 so we can make some in-game adjustments so we can put our best foot forward in set 2.
Yoki back to serve it again. Played for the Finland national team in the offseason. Elliott is kept alive. Comes near side, Moeai. Elliott again. Yoki, cross court, dug by Booth. Second ball attack out of the middle, and Bixby got it.
I love that. Try something different. Instead of slowing it down and having somebody take that second ball, typically the bro would step in there. Why not just go up and rip? UNI has not had the opportunity to have a whole ton of middle productivity, so when you get the opportunity, take it.
There's Taryn Rice, redshirt sophomore out of Northville, Michigan. Tipped across, Gabadlo. Hartman the tip. Pancake kept it up. Hartman with a hammer. Oh my Lord.
That's one where you almost want to check on your player, as that was a lot of heat on that ball. And she's able to thread the needle like we talk about, working down that line, as Wilton the boy just gave her a lot of room to work with.
Grace Moss is trying to smile through it. Takes the next one. Overpass is blocked back to the Utah side. Key Powell, good dig from Peterson. Free ball back to Utah. Moeai on the slide, uses the block to score, and Utah has set point in the first.
It's something that we haven't talked about as much as Wilton the boy, and she's doing a really good job of spreading out this offense, not just, you know, from that is the hitters, but also like really getting that ball to the pin, which is allowing her hitters to be so successful down the line.
Key Powell's serve, awkward take from Peterson. Hartman cross court, kept up by Linehan, and that will do it. Utah, masterful defensively. They take the first set by a wide margin. Second set from DJ Sokol Arena coming up. After hosting last year, Utah found themselves squarely on the bubble this year. So you can imagine the emotions as they watch the selection show on Sunday.
Yeah, Coach Lanier talked about it. saying how emotional it was, but just how resilient this team has been all year. And that more than anything, it was a life lesson that you just got to keep your head down and keep working. And when you do those things, things will work out for you.
And they have been working out here as well for Utah. They won set one 25-15.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa didn't provide a lot of resistance in that first set, Shannon.
No, I mean, you look at the numbers here, and the hitting percentage of Utah, 448 in set one versus UNI 0. And the other thing that stands out to me is Utah had 8 blocks to UNI 0. So, come to this set two, look to see a little bit more parity, a little bit more in-game adjustments from UNI, but starting out early with a pretty aggressive swing from Yoki, one that is a very talented player, and she rotates the back row, so you'll have that 5-1 offense. We'll see Wilton the boy will call her number, but something that I think UNI can take advantage of early.
Yoki back to serve. Booth will set it near side for Elliott. That was off hands again. Wilton LeBoy to the middle. Mo'iai tried for the touch. Go outside cross court. Hartman couldn't get it to fall. Key Powell. She has been money so far in this one. Already her 6th kill.
Very explosive, just a wiry, undersized outside. A lot of her swings and a lot of her kills are coming from the cross court. So if I'm UNI, I'd probably try to see if I could force her to go line.
Bixby was blocked. Rice has to play it across. Key Powell, that was over her head. And it was outside the antenna.
Just a ball that was overset there.
It's maybe the first bad one we've seen from Wilton LeBoy today.
Yeah, she's been really good, really steady. A transfer from Oklahoma, just a really solid, nice player for the Utes.
Ace for UNI. Tied at 2 now. Good serve from Bixby. They could use some of that. Maybe use the serve to get that offense going. Bixby with the dig. Right at the net. The joust stays on the Utah side. Key Powell's tip. Boy, she is crafty.
That's exactly, the UNI defense did a really good job of adjusting their block. You see they're so far set up on her. That's where your off block has to do a better job of knowing that we're taking away her cross court, her hard swing there. I have to expect that tip and roll.
Key Powell's serve. Booth the set. They go middle. Kept up by Utah. And that's into the net. Gabadlo was well off. And we're back to level at 3.
I really like that set decision by Reese Booth going to the middles there. While it wasn't resulting in a kill, it did throw the Utes something different. Just to be able to throw them that is important as we go throughout this set.
Sydney Golden to serve it. Chased Wilton LeBoy behind the 10-foot. And a missed set there by Golden. Didn't come off. Didn't look like it was in rhythm. Free point for Utah.
I think she just jumped a little bit too early on that one, coming on her way down.
Mo'iai, good serve. Outside Hartman. Just has not found the range yet. Hartman, she is first team all-conference. She was Mo Valley Player of the Year. Cracked 500 career kills this season. Hasn't been her night yet. I'm sure it's not the last we'll see of her. Here she is again, Hartman. That's a better swing. And a point to UNI. Double contact.
Yep, so in college volleyball this year, they passed the double contact rule that allows that second contact to have some spin, to have that double contact. But if it crosses the net, so if it crosses the net on that second or third contact, it is a violation.
Wilton LeBoy sets middle. Schaefer can't get it through the block. Once again, the Utah block's been impressive so far.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of just being simple, knowing who it is that their matchups are, and just being low and simple and low and over with their hands.
Back row, Hartman. Block slowed it down. Yoki got it.
To the blockers of Utah, the other thing that allows for your blocking to be so successful is your serve. And so that is something that Utah has done really well, is when you're serving aggressive, you're either taking your setter off of the net, which is going to force them to be a little bit more predictable. And so as a blocker, if you have any signs of them being predictable, it's going to give you a little bit more success in setting up.
Serve from Peterson. Padlow. She uses her whole body on that swing.
Just a beautiful backswing from Gabadlo. Just a really pretty approach. Just a nice solid pin, not only being able to score in front, but also behind.
Dykstra. Got a little bit lucky off the tape, but they'll take it.
Big point there for the Panthers. I think they need to see that ball fall.
Yes.
I mean, they have the capability of being really great. And so you'll see Reese Booth now rotate to the front row. You'll also have their opposite in Isabel Elliott, who, you know, they had an injury with Kalia Club, one of their few seniors. And so right now, this is that stronger rotation for UNI when it comes to experience.
Yoki tried to go over the top, got the touch. Point Utah.
You can have the range to be able to use the block to your advantage to end rallies with tools. It's so important, and that's something that as a coach you want to stress, whether you're on the hunt for seams or you're on the hunt to tool. It just ends rallies.
Bixby couldn't get it through. And it's a 4-point lead for Utah here in the second. Timeout, Bobby Peterson. She's thinking exactly what I was. This is kind of the danger zone with a 4-point deficit here in the second set. Yeah,
it's having that experience, knowing when to have the pulse on the match, because you definitely don't want this to get too far out of reach if you are UNI. And again, it's something that Coach talked about a little bit, about not making this bigger than it needs to be in talking about the youth and some of those that have not experienced, you know, this big of a moment, and
right,
not wanting to make the moment too big. So finding the best thing that you can do to slow them down, to give them confidence, because that's what gives you confidence, right? Is knowing that you can lean into your game plan and going out there and doing what you've done to get here.
Well, both of these teams kind of felt like they were in a little bit of a rebuild coming into this season, but especially Northern Iowa. When you look at the breakdown for their roster, it's eye-popping, just the numbers. But when you break it out by class, 10 freshmen on the roster this season. So to have the success that they had, running through, basically running over the rest of the Missouri Valley Conference. They dropped only 8 sets during the regular season. With 10 freshmen on your roster is pretty impressive nonetheless, what the score ends up being here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. 13 underclassmen and 5 upperclassmen. I mean, that tells a very big story.
Out of the timeout. Utah with the serve. McKenna Payne trying to extend it. Booth to set outside. Dykstra. They finally got her going. Best swing of the match for Lily Dykstra.
Just a really great set there from Reese Booth. I think when you're trying to push pace, you can't equate tempo and pace with low. We can't have low fastballs. We have to have that ball with pace, but it has to be high enough. And I think that was a beautiful in-system tempo that allowed that seam to open wide open.
To the middle. Moiai puts it down. No. Long.
Just a little wide. I think she might have overran that just a little bit. So when that ball gets behind you and you're swinging for it, it just went just wide.
That's why I'm not a linesman. Yoki. And UNI gets the block. Here come the Panthers.
A 3-0 run from that timeout. something that you definitely want to build on. You definitely want to hold serve here with the pieces that UNI has out on the floor right now. Those are the pieces that you want to build on within this rally.
Key Powell. That was touched on the way through. Good swing from Elliott. We're tied at 10. What a job out of the timeout. What a timeout taken by Bobby Peterson, and it will prompt one the other way. Panthers back in it at 10-all here in the second set. Northern Iowa won their 21st Missouri Valley Conference Tournament Championship, and Bobby Peterson got the customary water in the face as she walked into the locker room.
Must have been very cold water.
Well, she's poured cold water on this Utah lead after her timeout. 4-0 run for UNI. 3 different players have scored points in this run. And Rice gives it back. A good timeout the other way from Beth Lanier.
Really great run there from UNI. And now it's just trusting in what you're coming to Omaha to do, and that's trusting in each other, and starts out here with a pass.
Hartman couldn't get it down. Passed across. Chance for UNI here. Hartman again. That's blocked. Chased down by Rice. What a play. Hartman off hands. Re-rack for Utah. On the slide. Moiai! Got it.
Really heads up play there from Moiai. As she sees she has 2 up on her and just drops it right over the block. Uses that hand. Smart play.
12-10 Utes. Hartman, big swing. Comes back. Good save by Peterson. Blocked again. Utah setting up a wall.
They are fully committed to the outsides of UNI as they can play with matchups, but they definitely knew that they had 2 lefts that can really carry a load, so they're definitely trying to slow them down.
Elliott this time. Is it sent back? Got that one. Finally got one through the block. 7 blocks for Utah without error.
And another really smart play call there from Reese Booth, as seen how well the Utah block has been. You have to try to find a way to get the opposites as well as the middles involved.
Key Powell scores again. She leads the way, leads all players in the match with her 8th kill.
Just seems as Utah is just so hard to slow down, and those were 2 things that Coach Lanier talked about was, you know, their strengths being within their offense and their serving, and those are 2 things that even though there's been some errors behind the service line, they have definitely put a lot of pressure on UNI within those 2 things.
Service pressure pays off again. 15-11, back to a 4-point lead. Was tied at 10, and the Utes have outscored UNI 5-1 since then. Booth trying to set it up for Hartman, just long. With Hartman, she has had a rough go of it. Cassidy Hartman, now 2 kills on 22 swings. And we're gonna look at this one now. And a challenge on the floor. What did you see?
So real time, I did think that it was out, but I don't think I fully followed it all the way to the line, to be honest with you. Be a pretty quick call here, it looks like.
Okay, so not a challenge, just a timeout. At 16-11. Couple of teams waiting in the wings, getting ready to go. Northern Colorado taking in the action. Team out of the Big Sky. Had to win the Big Sky tournament to get here. They had a real struggle in the middle of their season, but an impressive finish. And the Creighton Blue Jays, of course. so good for so many years. And they get to host as a 3 seed once again.
Creighton's been really good. And this is the 7th time hosting. You know, it's a pretty impressive stat. You look at the appearances and the amount of appearances that each one of these decorated programs have had. Creighton with this venue and being able to play host. It's been a pretty incredible run that they've had.
20th appearance for Utah, 27th appearance for Northern Iowa. The Panthers, they want to keep number 27 going. They're going to have to get it moving here. Attack's got to come to life. Hartman, she can do it.
I do like that play call there. As much as, you know, utilizing your outsides haven't been super successful, what they haven't really done a whole ton is moving them around, whether it's running the 2-ball, maybe even utilizing the BIC if they have the opportunity, you know, when they have Hartman back in the back row. It's something that just changes up the defensive sequences that UNI is putting that pressure on Utah.
Gabadlo takes the hope away from the Panthers once again. Emery Moiai. Hartman out of the middle this time, got it. They've used her out of the middle a couple of times, and she's scored on both of them.
Yeah, I think it's just really smart. Just moving the ball around. Might be the same personnel, but it's just a different look. And, I mean, might as well keep calling that until they stop it.
Cassidy Hartman serve. Gabadlo, the tip. Dykstra. Got it. The block that's been so stout for Utah. Dykstra finally able to use it to score.
And not only using it, but yeah, using it to end the rally. It's so important because what Utah has done so well is their offense. If you don't give them the opportunity to even have that, and you're able to just end rallies, that's just not something we've seen consistently done enough from UNI is ending rallies. So little by little, they're going to need to find some sort of rhythm to do so.
Cameron Gabadlo with her 6th kill. Schaefer. Different face in there. Schaefer able to put it home.
And Schaefer is typically a middle blocker. With Kalia Clubb's injury, she steps up in a big way here, as that's something for UNI. They are going to need to lean into those right sides for more offensive productivity.
Now there's the ace leader for Northern Iowa coming through in a big spot. 25th of the season for Jaden Peterson, the coach's daughter.
And seeing the bench get into some action there. Both benches are really fun to watch, as you're going to see a lot of sideline dances and ways to celebrate, as both coaches have talked about how big of a role their bench plays in that.
Back-to-back for Jaden Peterson. And now the Panthers are within a point. Gabadlo came back across. Oh, what a point for UNI. Sometimes better lucky than good.
Hey, take a kill any way you can, even if it's from a dig. Gets you within tying the setup. Take it and run.
Well, how about this? Your libero gets a kill.
Yeah, and Utah has really hit a lot of balls cross court, and so you're seeing Jaden Peterson settling in, first time in this big of a moment, and she's done a really good job, not only within that dig, but I mean, she's the one behind the service line right now.
You can get all of ESPN's college volleyball coverage all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. You can catch Shannon and myself in the Creighton Northern Colorado match later tonight. And you can catch us tomorrow in the finale here from Omaha between the winner of the 2 matches today. So 18 all between Utah and UNI. Here's what the bracket looks like. Northern Iowa came in as the 6th seed. Utah, very much a bubble team, one of the last 4 in. You saw the video, the nerves. Creighton, one of the best teams in the country. The RPI has skyrocketed. They're ranked number 11 in the nation right now, and they'll face a Northern Colorado team that's been really hot down the stretch. So I'm certain that Northern Colorado will be upset-minded coming into that match later this evening. Out of the timeout. Panthers have tied it for a second time here in the second set. It was 10-all. They've got it back to 18-all. Pivotal second set. Yoki, it's blocked. Back to Yoki again. Kept up. Golden, back row, Hartman. Hilton LeBoy the dig. To Badlow, off hands. Peterson outside. Schaefer blocked. Dykstra blocked again.
What a great rally. I love to see what UNI is doing. They're spreading the ball around. They're playing really great defense, great coverage from behind their hitters, but just a better job there from Utah. Fields using her 6'5" frame yet again to seal that net up.
Schaefer blocked. Dykstra tried to go off the block. It stayed playable. Yoki, kill. 2 quick points from Utah after UNI had leveled it.
Utah's just getting a lot of one-on-one opportunities for their pin. Defense is doing a really good job of getting that ball on the net for their setter.
Dykstra, good swing, Lily Dykstra.
Just getting on that ball fast. I mean, if UNI can continue to do that with their pins and not allow that Utah block to seal up, that's really going to work in their favor.
Serve from Booth. Back row, Badlow just placed it perfectly.
Showing that she doesn't just have a physical arm, she also has that range. Seeing she has that one blocker and just sneaks it right over the top.
Elliott from the middle, it was touched. Moiai. Little scramble back to the UNI side. Dykstra. Good block again. Key Powell, the punch, got it. She has scored in so many different ways in this match.
Yeah, just a really heads-up play there, knowing that she's got the blockers up on her, knowing that they might be ready to defend her cross court, and isn't something that she had thrown into the sink just yet, so why not?
Dykstra somehow gets it across. UNI keeps it up. Dykstra, great swing! Great points!
I love to see Dykstra swinging there. So often when you're out of system, you can look to try to take some speed off, and so I love that she stayed aggressive, attacking the edges of Utah's defense.
That was almost miraculous that it didn't touch the floor. And somehow, Dykstra got a swing out of it. Rice gives it back, 23-20. 4 ties and 0 lead changes so far. Yoki's serve. Booth goes outside. Hartman, good hard swing. Boy, when she gets it in rhythm, Hartman is tough to stop.
Yeah, just doing a much better job of seeing what her blockers are taking away. So she's being successful going cross court. There's definitely blockers there, but her vision is seeing where they're set up on her, and you just love to see her being aggressive.
Second ball, kept up. Elliott. Badlow blocked. Moiai comes down on the UNI side. She stuffed it right into the block, and it's set point in the second.
Those high balls are tough for middles. You know, they're used to that quicker set, so a really good job there from Moiai to be patient to use that block on their way down.
And here is Levani Key Powell to try and finish it. Hartman off the block, kept alive by Linehan. And Rice couldn't handle it. Gabadlo gets the kill. Utah take a 2-0 lead. What a start for the Utes here in Omaha. It doesn't matter how you got here, it just matters how you play when you get here, and the Utes are on fire. John Schreiner, Shannon Smolinski back here with you from DJ Sokol Arena in Omaha. Round 1 of the 2025 NCAA volleyball tournament. Utah leads it 2-0 over Northern Iowa. Let's see how we got there with some of the highlights from the first 2 sets. Utah got off to a very hot start in this one. And they've done a lot of it, Shannon, with defense. The block has been excellent. 8 blocks through the first 2 sets.
And now 16, right? I mean, they've definitely turned it on. I mean, their block has been phenomenal, and I spoke to it earlier in the match. Is while the numbers go to the block, it really is what their servers are doing to put that pressure on the passers of UNI to allow for that predictability.
30 kills to 19 just highlights that even further. The top 2 hitters for UNI, Lily Dykstra and Cassidy Hartman coming in, they've combined for just 11 kills on 40 swings. It has been a struggle for the top 2 outsides for UNI, and in big part because of that defense for Utah.
Yeah, and another thing too is something that UNI does really well is they run their middles on the first contact. And so when you have Utah serving as well as they are, it hasn't allowed the middles to have that opportunity. I mean, you each only have 1 kill, for those middles in UNI. And so, I mean, that is really tough to put so much load on their pins to be able to have that productivity.
Now here's the big bracket. This is the entire bottom right. Kentucky is the one in this region. You can see what happens here. The winner out of Omaha is going to play the winner out of Arizona State's pod. Arizona State, Coppin State, Utah State, Tennessee. So you can see what's ahead for the team that comes out of Omaha. Creighton hoping it will be them. A 3rd straight Sweet 16 is on the line for the Blue Jays here at home this weekend. But first, the 3rd set here in Omaha between UNI and Utah. Shannon, what can the Panthers do to change their fortune here in the 3rd set?
Yeah, it starts out with a pass, and then from there, it's just finding a way to get others involved. If I'm UNI, I'm going to come in there trying to get more of my middles involved, get my right sides involved. They've also been really successful utilizing their outsides running 2 balls. So, here you have Cassidy Hartman in the back row. So whether it's running her on a Bick back there, you could even run Dykstra right now on a 2 ball, just something different other than just that go ball, because Utah has done a really nice job in shutting that down.
Yoki to serve as we start the 3rd. Booth chased it down. Hartman starts it off with a swing, and that is a good sign if you're wearing purple and white.
Yeah, I would be leaving both Dykstra and Hartman in the whole time. I know sometimes they'll utilize Rice to come in there as a defensive player, but sometimes it's not about what you're defending, but you got to be putting balls away, and that's something that UNI has not done really well in this match, is ending rallies. So that's something that when you leave that outside in the back row, it allows for 1 more hitter back there.
Fan in the front row got a meet and greet with Jaden Peterson.
You got to respect the hustle.
Yes. 1-all here in the 3rd. Booth, good. Set to the middle for Bixby.
And I love that. I mean, Wilton the boy was fully committed to the outside go ball, and so that's the one-on-one opportunity that they need. So whether we're setting 3s, whether we're running a 3 and a 9 and a Bick, they have to do more in the middle and the back right side pin for more offensive productivity.
And an out-of-system swing is a good one for Gabadlo.
And you have to be okay with that if you're UNI. Utah is going to get their kills, but you can't allow the 1 kill to go to 2 to 4. You have to find a way to score points.
Moiai the serve. Overhead set, Booth. Good idea. Elliott puts it away.
I love it. I love it. I love exactly what Northern Iowa is doing here. And so it's going to be, when it gets tough, can we stick to the game plan?
Switch the servers for UNI. Golden in to serve. Tipped across. Kept up and blocked. Like the Wasatch front that's just outside their campus, the Utah block has been mountainous.
And while I understand wanting to utilize your opposites, on that one you're almost, I mean, everything is so loaded there. So on that one I probably would have spread it out and run that BIC just to somewhat see if you can get somewhat of a seam there.
Just for those who may not know, explain what a BIC is.
Sure, a BIC is going to be this back row set. So a BIC is going to be, it used to be called a pipe or a white because it was a little bit of a higher ball that was set to the middle back player. So they can jump behind the 10-foot line and land in front of the 10-foot line. And so since they can take off and be able to be so physical, almost as if they're hitting out of the front row, you're seeing a lot of college volleyball running it a little bit faster. So it's a back row quick. That's why they call it a BIC. And so if you can do that efficiently, in my opinion, it's almost one of the hardest balls to defend because you don't see it if the setter's on the net and you have 3 attackers on you in the front row and you only have that one blocker on you. It's so hard to defend because so many seams open up not only at the net but also in the back row.
Utah takes a 5-4 lead here in the third. Badlow to serve. Dykstra. Good dig, Wilton LeBoy. Dykstra again. Got the touch. This was a great keep up from Leah Wilton LeBoy. Right in your living room.
Great effort there. Some of your best setters aren't only great setters, but they also attribute to what the team is doing defensively.
Key Powell, who was great through the first 2 sets. And there, down the line, Schaefer. It looked close. She didn't get the call.
Yeah, it was a really good out-of-system set. She just let that ball carry a little bit too long, getting to that left shoulder, but a really nice out-of-system set. Just a missed opportunity there for the Panthers.
Schaefer got that one. Tied at 6.
Really good control there from Golden to keep that ball in play and not have a net violation. And again, just finding a way to utilize that right side attack has just been really, really effective for the Panthers.
Reese Booth back in, delivers an ace.
The hometown kid coming up there with an ace as you see her mom, former Creighton Blue Jay head coach, cheering her on from the stands.
Another good serve from Booth. Yoki, touched by Hartman, might have been going out. Hartman just got a touch on it.
And Yoki is a player that Coach Lanier talked about, that she is really somebody that can be a big key player for them. And when she gets hot offensively, their team really goes.
Booth tracks it down. Dykstra, good swing. This is much better from UNI. This is the team that they have been all season.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 2 quality outsides like they have in Dykstra and Hartman, it just took them a little bit longer to settle in of where can they score. And so you're seeing just in that shot alone, and just opening up that range, that crossbody shot down the line.
Pushed far pin. Key Powell. They finally stopped her. That's the UNI block coming to life. They've got a 9-7 lead.
Marin Bigsby, Mo Valley first team player, just doing a really good job leading the team in blocks as well, sealing that net up.
Peterson dig, save, Dykstra, Booth puts it across. Rack for Utah, Gabadlow hammered it out of the back row, or the BIC, as Shannon explained earlier.
Yeah, just coming in like a freight train. You see she only has the one blocker there, and then the three back row defenders. It becomes really hard to defend. And I think, Jaden Peterson has done a much better job of also settling and digging a lot of balls here late in set 2 and set 3.
Hartman, that was an excellent effort on the set by Reese Booth.
Build on it. If you're UNI, you want to build on this momentum. You want to build on this confidence because they're doing a really good job executing a very, very good game plan.
Bixby. Tough take on the serve receive. Touched across. Another chance for the Panthers. Hartman. Block was there. Moiai. Boy, when she gets a lane, it goes down.
Yeah, she's just so physical. I mean, like I talked about, she's just so quick within her footwork. She's got such a high contact point, and then just has that ball control. That that 2 ball that she ran earlier in set 2. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. So you're seeing just a physical athlete.
Great server as well. Gabadlo, off hands, got it.
Yeah, Moahi just moves differently. I mean, she's somebody that you'd probably be comfortable on a pin. I mean, sometimes your traditional middles or your long, lean, have that same, kind of look and build. But the thing about Moahi is just her physical athleticism, and how she moves is definitely different.
2 players attacking the same ball for UNI. Miscommunication on that side gives the point to Utah. A little bench press routine going on over there on the Utah sideline. Coach warned us. She said it's going to get wacky. Hartman blocked. The 10th team block of the match for Utah.
And a lot of that has come against the outsides of UNI, just doing a really good job with that scouting report, shutting that go ball down.
At 12-10, timeout called by Bobby Peterson. Panthers need to take this one to keep the match going. Cameron Gabadlo's been good all season long, but this might be rare air even for her. 12 kills on 24 swings, just the 1 error. She's also chipped in with 3 blocks, part of a 10-block team performance already for Utah. And between she and Lavani Key Powell, the outsides for Utah have really driven the bus.
That's what you call efficient.
There's that block again, and Gabadlo involved. No sooner spoken than she delivers.
Just very much like Moahi, just a really good athlete. Just a nice frame at, just using all of it, whether it be on the defensive side of the ball or offensive side of the ball.
Elliott couldn't get it through the block. That was a tough set. Hartman couldn't do anything with it. Suddenly, Utah leads by 4.
Yeah, putting that pressure on from the service line, which has gotten UNI away from what's been successful for them here in set 3.
5-0 scoring run for the Utes. Can Hartman end it? She can. Much needed point for the Panthers.
It's not an easy shot. I mean, they make it look so easy, but that ball is well executed, a nice set to the pin, and shows like she's going to go cross court, but works her thumb up to hit a cross body shot.
Sydney Golden the serve. It's a good one. Gabadlo. Send it wide.
It's the same exact swing that we saw from Hartman. It's just when you try to use that crossbody swing, if you let it get too far across that left shoulder, it'll go out.
Back row. Dykstra. Panthers within 1.
I would continue to utilize that. I would almost make that my main outlet, my main, I would replace the go ball, especially early on in the rally, and really try to establish that BIC because it's been really effective for the Panthers.
Go to the middle this time, and that's Caitlin Field. Haven't heard much from her since the first set, but she gets involved here.
Yeah, she's getting involved offensively, a little quiet, but what she's doing for Utah is really more on the blocking side of the ball, as she's come up at big times for the Utes in what she's done with her physical frame.
Schaefer kept alive by Wilton LeBoy. Gabadlo, Dykstra the dig. Schaefer, block was there again. Dykstra, overpass, joust. Won by Oldendorf. And then the swing goes long. Was there a touch? No. Point Panthers. What a rally.
I think we're going to get our first challenge here, as the Utah Utes are saying there was a touch off of the UNI block.
Beth Lanier pulls the green
Utah
card.
is
We'll go to the
challenging
monitor.
block touch.
Utah certainly thought there was one initially.
Sometimes it's not necessarily if there was a touch or if there wasn't, it's does the camera see it, you know, and it has to be conclusive enough. And that is hard when you're a little bit off of the net and you're trying to see within the pixels if you can get that conclusive evidence to overturn it or not.
Looking for the movement of fingers.
So with the call on the floor being out, there would have to be enough there to overturn it. And this is a big point here for UNI, as they're definitely trying to build off of that momentum.
Conclusive evidence, I don't see any from my perspective.
Yeah, and that's just the hard call as a coach. It's like, you know, you might have seen it, but does the camera see it? So just kind of knowing when and when not to.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, typically what they're looking for is the obvious. They're going to look for the finger bend. They're going to see if there's any change of direction, which honestly the change of direction is really hard if it's not super obvious, because there's going to be spin on the ball typically from an attack. So we'll get the call here.
After review, the call is confirmed. University of Utah will lose a challenge.
So the call confirmed. Point stays with the Panthers, and they're back to within one. Cassidy Hartman, the junior out of North Liberty, Iowa, will do the serving. Mo Valley Player of the Year. Gabadlo. Boy, when they need a point, it's Cameron Gabadlo's show.
Yeah, just a really nice player from Arizona. Just very well-rounded athlete, and is really going to have a nice career for Utah.
Dykstra got the touch. 1 point game again.
Little by little, UNI is just chipping away, playing free and trying to see if they can't find a way to stay in this match.
Kept up by Golden. Dykstra, the tip. Key Powell, haven't heard from her yet in this third set, but there she is.
And that's what makes it so difficult, right? Because you've got two quality hitters in Yoki and Key Powell, so you can't commit to either one. So it's just really finding a way, if the blockers, when you are one-on-one, if you can find any way to get a hand to slow that ball down.
Dykstra blocked. Number 13 for the Utes. Timeout, Northern Iowa. They trail by 3, but it is getting late here in the third set.
We've seen it before, right? We've seen the timeouts happen and prompting a comeback of a run, and so if you're UNI, you know that you're capable of doing it. You know that early on in set 3, you had a really solid game plan to move that ball around, attack a little bit more out of the middle of the court, as well as behind the setter. And so it's when things get down to the wire, are we going to what we're comfortable with, or what the plan is? And I think that's something that's going to be really important for UNI coming out of this timeout, is really trusting others to do their job, because that's going to be really important for them to stay in this match.
So there's Kirsten Bernthal Booth on the left, Reese Booth on the right. Kirsten, of course, longtime head coach here at Creighton, built this program into what it is today. Her daughter, Reese, is the setter for Northern Iowa. And, of course, Kirsten, great friends with head coach at UNI, Bobby Peterson. Felt really good about sending her daughter to play for that program, and what a treat for mom to get to see her daughter play right here in Omaha in the NCAA tournament.
Speaks volumes to UNI's program when you have a coach as respected as Coach Booth is. That's a program where you feel comfortable, as you said, sending your daughter to. I think that definitely speaks volumes, and just what a cool moment it is for her to be able to be a mom in that moment, and to be able to see her daughter thrive and be successful.
Back to the court. 18-11, Utah in front. Big point here for the Panthers. Schaefer touched on the way through. Yoki, the tip. Kept alive by Peterson. Dykstra couldn't deliver the kill. Yoki tipped again. Dykstra was there. Key Powell. Well read. Dykstra down the line. Wilton LeBoy couldn't keep it in. And that is a big, big point for Northern Iowa out of the timeout.
That's a really, really good swing there from Dykstra. Another crossbody. Shows that she's setting up cross court, and then just has enough room to work with to go down that line. Really well executed.
And Moiai was blocked by Bixby. Haven't seen that yet today. Moiai's been scoring almost at will. That time UNI comes up with a huge defensive play. Yoki. Dykstra, free ball back across. Moiai mistimed it. Somehow got the point. Something didn't look right there, Shannon, but point goes up on the board.
Well, I mean, the important thing is UNI got a run, right? And so if we can at least, string along, if you're UNI, a couple points at a time, and get one and dones here where they get a quick side out, that's going to allow them to stay competitive here in set 3.
Dykstra. Here comes Lily Dykstra. Her 12th kill of the match.
Really good set there from Reese Booth. Just gets that ball quick to the pin, opening up that seam for Dykstra to take it.
But the serve lets her down.
So again, another not aggressive miss, just kind of rolling that hand over the top of the ball. It's an unfortunate time, and hopefully they can make it up with a pass.
Bixby. Timing wasn't great. She manufactured a point anyway.
You gotta love that from Dykstra. Missing that previous serve and then nailing that pass right after that sets up that middle connection. Well done.
Moiai with power.
Moiai is really good in front, but she's almost even better behind. Just has been really successful using that outside blocker's hands.
Utah by 2. Hartman, saved by Key Powell. DePadlo. Dykstra on the back row, keeps it up. Hartman again. That goes down. Panthers within one.
End rallies. If you're UNI, you have to find a way to end rallies. So just a really nice high tool swing there from Hartman.
Capadlo puts it down. 22-20 Utah.
Just a really heads-up play. You see all three players crash over to that side of the court. Just used her vision to see what was open and just taps it right into that 4-4 shot.
Leah Wilton-LeBoy. Schaefer, what a cut shot. Much needed.
It's a big-time swing there from Molly Schaefer, one that was a middle previous. That's a big-time play there from the freshman.
Capadlo was blocked. Yoki outside, got it. Utah 2 points away from sweeping their way into the second round.
It's like the bench of Utah showing they're just on the ground sweeping their way like a canoe, but just another really good swing using that line.
Dykstra says not yet.
I don't know how she found any room to work with, but just enough between the block there, she was able to sneak that in.
Dykstra again, tied at 23.
I love it. I love the fact that they move the outside over to the right side, knowing that that's where they want to put the ball. Very well done.
Lily Dykstra in the third set has come to life, and she is keeping Northern Iowa in this match.
Not only did you see that move from the Panthers with having her over there on the right side, not only does that give you the offensive productivity, but what has Utah been using a lot is that outside hitter. So it allows you to have another block over there. Both teams utilize their outsides a lot, and what we've seen Utah do really well is defend the outside, so and score with the outside. So it's just a really heads-up play there from the coaching staff of UNI to trust what they can do with Molly Schaefer of holding that outside position down, but knowing that they're going to try to utilize their typical outsides as right sides, because that's where the game is going, and that is what is needed in this moment.
Just a programming note, the next match between Creighton and Northern Colorado will start 30 minutes after the conclusion of this match. And at 23-23 in the third set, it's anybody's guess as to when that might be. It could be in 5 minutes, the conclusion of this one. It could be in another 30.
And such a big point here. So to see what UNI can do here from behind the service line is going to be key. But you have right now, two pins in the front row. So you have both Yoki and Key Powell. So right now they're probably not going to utilize their middle. So you have to expect that they're going to be balanced. I would not be surprised to see if they use Yoki here.
Peterson serve. Yoki kept up by Golden. Schaefer blocked out of bounds. Panthers take the lead. Set point in the third.
Two big moments and two big time plays from the freshman and Molly Schaefer to step up as that outside outlet and to take that heavy swing.
Panthers can keep it going right here. Key Powell drives it home.
Extra points we go, John. As much as Yoki has provided key moments, so has Key Powell. She's definitely been their go-to player.
Extra points in the NCAA tournament. Does the pressure get any bigger than this? Dykstra, big swing. Middle, Bixby, she's blocked. Schaefer, the other side, got the touch. Set point again for the Panthers.
I'm so impressed with Molly Schaefer as she has really turned it on at the right time for her team. So now rotating into the match, we'll have Reese Booth to see if she can't close it out here in set 3 and force us into a set 4.
Another timeout. Teams will head to the bench. Bobby Peterson, meeting of the minds, trying to figure out which direction they go to try and close out the third and give themselves a shot.
And don't make it harder than it is. What has been successful for them is utilizing their middles and their right sides. And I know sometimes it's like, hey, we got to go to our key player. And if your key player, if you have the ability to move them on the right side, let's do it. And they did that with Dykstra. Now you rotate in Reese Booth and you rotate in Isabel Elliott, who's has played right side, different than Schaefer, who has not played much of that pin throughout the season. But now you have Elliott that's coming in there with a little bit more experience. You don't necessarily have to make that switch, but not making it bigger than it needs to be. So if I'm Reese, I am thinking about, okay, what is within the flow of the offense? What's going to speed me up? If it's going to be the middle that speeds me up, or if it's going to be the right side, but I am going to try to utilize my right side, my middle, and if I have to on out of system, I'm going to go with the Bic out of the back row. I'm not going to set that go ball unless that ball is completely on that left side of the court. I'm going to do with what got me here.
Pressure cooker here at DJ Sokol Arena. Panthers trying to stay alive. Utah trying to move on. Reese Booth will serve it. Moiai. It's wide! Panthers live to fight another set.
And that's what we expected, John. We saw that balance 6-2 come into play, and some big game time adjustments from the Panthers stretch this match out into set 4.
We have a 4th set in Omaha. All right, settle in. Refill the popcorn. We're going to the 4th set because Northern Iowa got the victory in the third, 26-24. Cassidy Hartman, 9 kills, but that's come on just 37 swings tonight. She hasn't been terribly efficient. It feels like if there's a comeback that's going to happen, if the reverse sweep comes true, it's because Cassidy Hartman picked up her play down the stretch.
Yeah, she's somebody that UNI really relies on, and she's definitely going to need to take on a little bit more of a load. You talk about what she's done and what Dykstra's done, but for me, John, I mean, there's only 5 kills that we've seen from Molly Schaefer. 3 of those were in the red zone and came at huge moments for them to be able to be here in set 4.
Booth to the middle. Bixby got the first point of the 4th.
And it's exactly what we saw early in set 3. Finding a way to get their middles established early is going to allow for those pins to open up. So watch for UNI to continue to stick with that middle opposite offensive connections.
Yoki. Good dig for Hartman. They'll set the back row. Got it. And there's Cassidy Hartman.
I would almost eliminate the go ball. Like truly, unless it is like long within the rally, what I would do is I would go middle, op, Bic, and I would continue to do that. And then long within the rally, if I have to set that go ball, that's going to open up. But where they've been successful is just everywhere else but.
All right, Coach Shannon, break out the whiteboard. Now you have to explain to us what a go ball is.
Yep, so that go ball is going to be the ball that is coming from the setter that is out to that left side pin. So your Hartman's, your Dykstra on that left side pin. It is a ball with a little bit of tempo. It's not a super high ball. It's not super fast, but it is just in rhythm, just like that set right there. That is your go ball. Great effort there from Reese Booth to keep that ball at play.
Key Powell didn't get through the hands. Dykstra, that did! Northern Iowa is on a different level here to start the 4th.
They're bringing the crowd to their feet from those defensive rallies. Just incredible effort there.
Timeout, Utah. Cassidy Hartman's 26th match of the season with 10 or more kills. Hasn't been terribly efficient for her tonight, but she's come through in some big spots, especially here to start the fourth.
10 kills, 8 digs. Really does it all for the Panthers, but what I really like the most from her as of late is that back row swing has really come into a nice option for the Panthers.
Key Powell, dug by Peterson, back row, touched across. What a play for Dykstra. Oh my goodness. 5-0 UNI. It's their largest lead in any set tonight. Moeai, 6-0 Panthers.
All starts from that serve. Really great, flat and clean. A fleeing serve there from Reese Booth, as she's doing a really good job there. And the block setup and the defense that's around the blockers is doing a really nice job for UNI.
Moeai kept up by Peterson again to the middle. And finally, Utah gets a point on the board. It's a block for Moeai.
One of those players that Utah is going to rely on here in set 4, whether it's her or Gabadlo. Do not be surprised if you see the Utah Utes getting Moeai more involved throughout the set.
Another service error for Utah. They had a bunch of them in the first set, had really curbed it, but it comes back to bite them here. It's their 9th of the match. And the Utah attack is 0 for 8 to start this 4th set. Dykstra's serve. It's an ace!
Just doing the little things, John. I mean, volleyball, it's just such an incredible sport. I mean, you have your highs, your lows. I mean, Utah was feeling really great here in set 1 and set 2, and it just took a little bit longer for UNI to settle in, but they're doing a really nice job here in sets 3 and 4.
Elliott blocked on the way through. Tight for Moeai. Hartman, there she is. Mo Valley Player of the Year.
And I love that. So that is a ball that I'm okay with running to go, because you have a new player in the match. So what you'll see Utah do is they're going to utilize their bench. So right now they have a double sub where they have Grossenbach as their opposite, and then they're going to bring in Marco to set.
Moeai couldn't get it to the floor. Elliott off the net. Back row, Gabadlo. They need to get her going here in the 4th.
Yeah, they're going to lean on her, and they're going to lean on Moeai as their middle. So, you know, you have those two players that are carrying a large load for the Utes, and you have them in the front row right now. You're going to want to try to hold serve here.
It's still Panthers 9-2. Quick to Bixby. Elliott, that was blocked again. Hartman, kept up. Gabadlo, and it's all the way across. Too much power for Dykstra to handle. Gabadlo back in the action.
If you're UNI, you have to get a first ball kill. You don't even want to allow the Utah offense to get going.
Levani Key Powell with a quick release on the serve. Point Utah. Reese Booth was asking for a touch across the net. She did not get it.
So in that moment, what the officials are going to be looking for is if the ball crossed the plane of the net. If it crosses the plane of the net, then that would be a back row violation on the setter, and so that's what they called there.
9-4. Hartman stuffs it into the block.
Again, so seeing that there is a new blocker across the net for Utah, that's a really heads-up play there. As you know, you go cross court, you're going right into Moeai. You turn that just by an inch, and that's the difference of a kill.
Gabadlo tries to go cut. It came off the tape. Double contact on the UNI side.
Yeah, just an unlucky ball handling error. It's not something that she has to take that ball over. So if she's going to take that ball over, I understand the idea, and you're seeing a lot of it in college volleyball, is the two-hand throw, but it's a risk and a reward that if you don't handle it cleanly, that is a violation.
Wasn't a clean serve from Moiai there. 6-point lead once again for UNI.
We'll see that double sub come into play. Full 6-2 from UNI, so you'll have a new setter in Golden, and you'll have your new opposite in Molly Schaefer.
Down the line, good swing there for Ali Grossenbach. Her first kill of the match.
Lefty coming in, just a high contact point. It's a different look from the Utes.
Wilton LeBoy back in. Dykstra, back row, got it.
So when you talk about outlets are, if I'm in trouble, if I'm a setter and I get off of the net, who are my outlets? Who can I set the ball to on an out-of-system ball? The BIC is an outlet, and both pins are an outlet. And so I love the fact that UNI has utilized that back row as an outlet over just that comfortable go ball.
Yoki, down the line, got it.
Utah has almost taken a little bit from the playbook of UNI and said, hey, we have right sides that can score too. And like Coach Lanier talked about, when Yoki gets hot, that is a big key to our success.
Dykstra well off the net, manufactures a point. How about the way Lily Dykstra has played over the last 2 sets?
Yeah, I mean, good players, have range and they're able to do all the things, but great players are able to make those in-game adjustments. And she really struggled early in this match, finding ways to get kills, because having to get used to that Utah block and the physicality of it, really struggled with it. So what makes her so great is that she was able to make those adjustments and find ways to get kills for her Panther team.
Maren Bixby puts down the overpass. For the moment, UNI was doubling up Utah, but the service error puts it back to a 6-point lead. Almost looks like the teams have switched positions here in this 4th set. This is how Utah looked in the first 2, Shannon.
Yeah, and if you're trading points, if you're UNI, trading points is fine. What you don't want is Utah to go on a run. So, having a first ball kill, finding a way to be somewhat in system to medium system is going to be really important to keep this lead.
Dykstra blocked, joust, stays on the UNI side. Played back, good save, Wilton LeBoy. Key Powell. Hartman was there. Dykstra, off hands. Key Powell the dive. Yoki, got it!
All-out effort there from the Utes defense, starting with LeBoy, just finding a way to keep that ball up in play. And then another really, really great up from Key Powell. I mean, not only am I really impressed what Wilton LeBoy has done, just putting her hitters in really good positions, but defensively, I mean, she's got 9 digs, and just, I mean, what you want to do is you want to attack the setter, but because it takes them out of system. But when you have such great pins in Yoki and in Key Powell and in Gabadlo, like, if you're out of system, you're almost still in system, especially when you're playing such great defense like they are in their setter. It's incredible.
And Wilton LeBoy is an interesting case because she spent her freshman and sophomore seasons at Utah State, then transferred to Oklahoma, where she didn't play very much, only appeared in 13 matches. And then she came to Utah and was not the starting setter at the beginning of the season. That was Isabel Marco. But one thing Wilton LeBoy said is she just appreciated how much Beth Lanier gave players chances. And then Wilton LeBoy took over the starting center spot in sort of late October, and that's really when Utah started that big run. They got them onto the bubble and got them to this position. And she is one of the big pieces of this offense, and she's been great here today again.
There's something to be said about playing with swag and playing with confidence, and that's, you know, something that you spoke about before the match even started, is just the spunk and the fire that she carries herself with. I mean, it's infectious.
14-10, 3-0 run for Utah. Bixby ends it.
I really like the middle play call there. The one thing that I would like to see UNI do is just give their middles a little bit more height to work with. You know, when you're trying to speed it up and you're trying to utilize your middles, you just can't underset them, and that's one thing that I am seeing a little bit is the middles are being underset for UNI.
Serve for Reese Booth. Gapadlo out of the back row. Elliott. Yoki got it. Well, Yoki has come to life here in the fourth. And you said it. Her coach said it. When she gets hot, she can really go.
Yeah, just going off of 1 foot there. Not the typical right side swing, but just such an athletic build and just a really great backswing that allows a lot of options for her offensively.
Quick to Bixby. Kept up, overpassed, and Gapadlo was there. Key Powell tried to push across. Dykstra uses the hands.
It's going to be so important here in set 4, and if this, you know, goes into set 5, it is going to be so important. Watch to see what team is ending rallies, because truly that is what is going to be the story of the rest of this match, is what hitters are going to end the rally.
Dykstra with her 20th kill of the match. She's a dig away from a double-double. She chases it down there. Booth plays it across. Marco. Key Powell kept up by Booth. Hartman got the kill. 17-11.
Such resiliency from the Panthers defense, as that long rally, they're giving up free balls, and sometimes that does not work in your favor, but just staying gritty and playing great defense was really well done there.
Marco had to chase that ball down, and it stayed in on the back line. Oh, what a shot.
Just was able to catch enough of that back end line. I love that she at least called it and thought for sure that it was going out. It definitely wasn't something that was lucky for her, but at least she knew what she wanted to see.
Rosenbach with a beauty. Gapadlo off the net, out of bounds. Point Panthers. They extend the lead back to 6.
Really good answer here from the Panthers, as their defense has definitely come to play here in set 4.
Moiai got it past Booth.
Again, who's going to end rallies? So finding those hitters. Moiai sees that she has that one up. Even though she's tipping, she's still working the perimeter of the court.
Elliott, the tip, kept up by Gapadlo, nobody home.
And that's the risk of making some changes. Coach Lanier has plenty of confidence with what she's utilizing. That is within her bench. But sometimes when you make some changes and you get out of your flow, you're going to come up with some unlucky happenings that happens right there.
Gapadlo. Block got a touch. Joust put down.
And for me, this is a big point here. If you're Utah, you're trying to little by little creep away and get closer, especially before they get to the red zone. So that red zone of 20 is really where you're trying to close the gap before they get into that red zone.
Wilton LeBoy to serve. An important point here at 19-14. They go Hartman. She's got it. Momentum is always a factor in sports, and right now it's tilted heavily to the side of the team in purple and white.
And for UNI, for the momentum to be going in the favor of Hartman is only going to help them throughout this match, as she's the one that you definitely want to get hot.
Pushed across by Dykstra. Set out for Yoki. Kept up by Golden. Schaefer. Another huge delivery for Molly Schaefer, the freshman.
She's been so good, John. I mean, you have to be swinging there. And I mean, UNI got lucky. That tip from Dykstra, that was not going to necessarily be something that was going to work out well for UNI, especially with this Utah offense. So what I love is that they took advantage of having one more opportunity and going to Schaefer and her swinging away. That's really big for the Panthers.
Well, when you and I were talking about this match ahead of time, we said we think we've got the best first-round matchup right here in Omaha. UNI and Utah on paper look like a tremendous matchup. Both teams on absolute heaters going into the postseason, and here we are, just a few points away from a fifth set and a potential reverse sweep opportunity for Northern Iowa. Can Utah stave off the rally? It doesn't look like down 7 at 21-14, you're probably going to come back and win this, but can they create enough momentum going into the fifth?
As well as what can they learn from what UNI has made their changes, and can they find a way to slow that momentum down? Because since set 3, there has been a significant intentionality of what UNI is doing offensively as well as defensively. Early on in set 1 and 2, it was almost as there was a little bit of fear involved. There was a little bit of hesitancy, and you're seeing them playing free, and that's something that Coach Peterson talked about, is having that chip on your shoulder and outworking and out-teaming the other team. But we didn't see that in set 1 and 2, and so you're seeing that intentionality unlock here in sets 3 and set 4, and that's a really dangerous thing to see if you're Utah.
To the middle, kept up by Hartman. Schaefer couldn't get to it. Good point out of the timeout for Utah.
Both sides, John, have done a really great job defensively of making that second effort. You're not seeing, a lot of balls just, hitting the floor. I mean, you're seeing the defensive touches, the defensive pursuit. Just a hats off to both sides on what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball.
Rejected by Yoki.
She was used a couple times earlier in set 4 where they found success tooling her outside hand, and she said, not this time.
Utah needs to go on a run right here. Dykstra. Key Powell. Give her another. 13th kill for Key Powell.
Ending rallies. I mean, she is working with every inch of that court.
And suddenly the lead is down to 4. And that's a touch over the net by Field. Sometimes when you're 6'5", it's easy to do.
Yeah, and that's just something that you have to understand, that she's back row, so you don't want to jump with her, because if she takes that ball over the net, that's going to be a point for you.
Key Powell. That was vertical.
Yeah, that was, and that's something, same thing where there was the middle mistake for Utah. For me, that's a middle mistake for Bigsby, as they haven't really used Field a whole lot there, and where they're going to rely on is Key Powell. So I would almost commit to her out there and not worry about my middle.
To the middle, Bixby, she's blocked. There's the Utah block. It was so prevalent in the first 2 sets. Kind of went away here in the 4th. Comes up with a big point to make it 22-19.
Yeah, and just a couple missed opportunities, in my opinion, if you're Northern Iowa. Just understanding the personnel of who's on the other side is really important, and you can't get caught being complacent. Really understanding what the plan is that you are trying to attack offensively, and then defensively knowing who that personnel, who you have your mismatches with. you know, like I said, I do think that UNI could be really successful out of the middle, but right now the middles are just having a hard time scoring because I just don't think that their contact point is able to work around that block, and so they're being forced to tip or they're hitting right into the belly of the block. So it's not that I would go away from them because I think that they do a really good job. I mean, Bixby is, you know, one of their top 3 offensive scorers for them. So if they could just hang it a little bit more for those middles, I think that either A, could set up an opportunity for them to tool that hand to end that rally or to work that seam around them.
Well, Brian Rosen is impatiently waiting his turn to take the court. 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, his team will face off against Northern Colorado. But we are looking like we're headed for a 5th set. Utah may have something to say about that. They've cut the 7-point lead down to 3. It's 22-19.
This is a big point here, John. Settling in if you're the passers, wanting that ball, and hitters staying aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised here to see if they went back towards Schaefer.
It's McKenna Payne, freshman serving specialist, to send it across. Dykstra gets it.
Really good swing from Dykstra. As I mentioned, just she is learning as she goes throughout this match, and you know, just the little details that she's implemented to allow her success is really impressive.
And Reese Booth, who started the set on a great serving run, delivers an ace. Set point for the Panthers.
That is a big moment there for Reese Booth. A beautiful serve coming at just a perfect moment for the Panthers.
Almost got another. Key Powell keeps it going for at least one more point.
She just almost looks like she's jumping off a trampoline. I mean, she really elevates. Just, she's been so impressive to watch here so far tonight.
Dykstra got it. We are going to 5. Northern Iowa, impressive comeback. 5th set coming your way. Well, Northern Iowa has forced a 5th set in large part because of the great play down the stretch of one Lily Dykstra.
In that set alone, John, 8 kills. And, you know, we talked about the game plan for UNI is utilizing their middles and their right sides, and they did. They did that early, and that is why that opened up the option for her on the outside, because they had to make an adjustment. Utah, they knew, like, okay, they're setting their right sides, they're setting their middles, they're not always going to go to that go ball, so they had to make an adjustment. They had to, you know, almost be held true, right? My middles have to stay with my middles. I can't just commit. I have to be able, so that is going to open up more offensive opportunities for her on that outside. And not only that, but her kills are coming from different swings than what we saw in set 1 and set 2. Set 1 and set 2, she had a lot of balls that got blocked, a lot of her cross-court swings that got dug. So what she did was she changed up her offensive prowess by using some of that range, using that high tool. So just everything that they're doing is really lending a lot of success for 15 in white.
You saw it on the screen, a new career high, 22 kills. What a time to produce that number. And she'll have more opportunities to add to it. 15 points to send someone on to the 2nd round.
And something that Coach Lanier talked about was matchup. So a lot of times they can adjust what they want to do with Gabadlo and what they want to do with Key Powell. And so early on in the match, we saw Gabadlo was the one that started in the back row, and now they have Gabadlo in the front row. So watch for Utah to go to her early and often.
Key Powell, the first serve. Dykstra couldn't get it through. Push it back to her. She gets that one down. And here we go. Utah on the season, 5-3 in 8 matches that went to 5 sets. Northern Iowa has only played in 2 5-setters this year. They won both. So both teams have been great when matches have gone to 5. Moiai pushed across. Elliott blocked. Overpass, put down.
We'll get a net violation here, John.
No, a net violation.
And so if you're Utah, your question if you're the staff is, was I in the net after the ball hit the ground? But Coach Lanier has done this for a long time, and she knows, like, hey, I'm not going to overtake this moment, because momentum can be a big thing, and so stopping the momentum is not something that she's looking to do here early.
Dykstra's serve goes long. Little adrenaline here in set 5.
That's that 36 years of experience knowing when do I need to bark and when do I not need to bark, because that resulted in a service error.
Moiai, good serve. Hartman, out.
Got a touch
No, a
call.
touch at the net.
Really good job by the officiating crew, as they're not big touches that they're seeing. I mean, they are micro touches, but that is exactly what these players are looking to do. I mean, that's a kill. It's ending rallies.
3-1 rather, Northern Iowa. And that is long off the hand of Key Powell. 4-1 UNI.
From Bobby, I'm probably gonna see if Oldendorf is okay. She's kind of limping around a little bit. Landed awkwardly on that last play.
Capadlo couldn't get it through. Elliott off the shoulder of Payne. And how did she score that? Cassidy Hartman from the Reese Booth miracle save.
Which was such a heads-up play, because there was not much that Booth could do with that ball. If she tries to jump with it, she might get called for a back row violation if that ball sneaks across the plane. So she was patient and resilient. And then again, just another big swing there from Hartman, who has her 14th double-double here in this 5th set. I mean, just incredible volleyball here in Omaha, John.
Well, UNI has been reverse swept themselves in the NCAA tournament before. They're trying to pull one off here in Omaha. They lead it 5-1. And we are now in the 3rd match of the first round to go 5 sets here in the NCAA tournament this season. Utah scrambling since the end of that 2nd set. They went extra points in the 3rd. Northern Iowa just barely scraped by, 26-24. Trying to keep that 21-match win streak going to 22.
This has just been such a fun match to watch, and I think something that we came into this match knowing was how experienced and how just such a great coaching staff by both sides. And so, I mean, you just love to see the answer that UNI has had. Do not be surprised if you see, a side out and a run here from the Utah Utes, but just not something that I'm surprised to see. Both teams just really going for it and making really big time adjustments throughout this match. Bixby serves out of the timeout. Capadlo, it was over her head. Did well just to get a touch on it. Elliott, cross court, dug up by Moss. Capadlo. Capadlo able to manufacture a point. She has been largely stymied over the last couple of sets. Well, UNI's putting 3 blockers on her when they can. So something that Coach Peterson talked about, having the opportunity within her staff and with her personnel to be able to change different blocking schemes. This is a little bit of a younger team, so hasn't done it a whole ton, but something that they have been better at throughout the season. So just a big time adjustment that we're seeing from UNI on that blocking scheme. And this is a different Cassidy Hartman in the 2nd half of this match. She was struggling mightily to start things, hitting 0 for a long stretch of the match. That is her 17th kill now. Well, hats off to the production crew that kind of called it going into set 4, as highlighting her and basically calling her number, and she's definitely answered. Yoki blocked. The defense of UNI has really been the difference maker here, whether it be blocking or whether it be their backcourt difference. For me, that has probably been one of the largest factors in what's turned this match around.
Wilton LeBoy, Gapadlo delivers on the tool.
So Gapadlo will rotate to the back row, which will bring Key Powell to the front row, and it's not as if she is not a quality outside hitter that is able to go off as well. So look here for the balance of both Yoki and Key Powell.
Hartman couldn't get it through the block. 7-4, Utah back within 3.
And the balance that Utah has right now with both Yoki and Key Powell is something that they're going to want to keep a hold of here. So wanting to go on a service one with Gapadlo is something that would be really important.
And it ends with a service error.
Big point there. If you're UNI, it's kind of a little bit of a break as you start to feel a little bit of that momentum kind of coming back for the Utes.
So the teams switch sides when one team reaches 8 points. That's Northern Iowa. Bobby Peterson, so much experience on both staffs. Beth Lanier, those two are such great friends and they've had so many interactions. Beth Lanier told us a couple of years ago she wanted to put together a tournament with Northern Colorado, UNI, and Creighton to come out to Utah because they were 4 long-tenured female coaches at good programs. They could just never quite put it together. And how about the coincidence of the 4 of them being in this pod here? And of course, Kirsten Bernthal Booth not on the sideline. She's in the stands watching her daughter play for UNI.
Yeah, what a crazy small world and small network volleyball is.
Payne the serve. Dykstra the touch. Key Powell. Blocked, kept alive. Back to Key Powell. Stays up again. Key Powell, a third bite of the apple. And she was in the net.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there, John. I think there was a couple times for both sides to call a challenge. I thought there might have been a time where UNI was in the net there. And I know that they had called it on Utah, but I think that could have went either way.
9-5, Peterson the serve. It's long. A welcome break for the Utes.
Talked a little bit about the red zone in set 4. And as UNI slowly starts to work into that red zone, something that they're going to want to do is, again, like I talked about, ending rallies. You do not want to give any opportunities to this Utah offense.
Gold into the middle, Bixby, what a dig. That was Linehan. Kept up by Peterson. Key Powell down the line. Utes within 2.
She's been really, really good for Utah, picking up her 17th kill of the match. I mean, both her and Gapadlo have just been such a force to reckon with on the outside for the Utes.
Utah last season, they finished 25-6. They hosted the first and second round. Got a win over College of Charleston in the first, but were taken out in the second round by Marquette, a team that fans around these parts know very well. Creighton and Marquette have dueled at the top of the Big East for many seasons. But Utah trying to go on the road and win an NCAA tournament match this season after finding their way in, last 4 in, and now finding their backs against the wall here in the 5th set. Not a position that many would have thought they'd be in the way those first 2 sets went.
Talked about in-game adjustments. You're seeing Utah definitely answer the changes that UNI has made. And so out of this timeout, now it's going to come down to serve and pass. Again, we talked about the strengths of Utah being their serving, so don't expect, or rather expect them to have a very aggressive serve, and sometimes aggressive doesn't mean pace for them, but rather what they can do with the depth of the serve, whether it's dropping it or going deep. And so for UNI, you know, you have that balanced offense. You have Dykstra in the front row, somebody that's been very successful. So Utah knows, like, hey, they're going to try to get her the ball. But then, you know, we also talked about Molly Schaefer, somebody that's come in the clutch for UNI. So right now, if I'm UNI, whatever is going to speed me up, I would set either pin.
UNI trying to change some history. They have lost their last 5 NCAA tournament matches that have gone 5 sets. Dykstra off the hands, got the kill.
She's been a big-time player here in sets 4 and sets 5. Again, going after that high hand, getting that micro touch. And so now you'll see Utah bring in a bigger blocker to try to slow her down as they double sub and bring in Grossenbach and Marco.
Booth, good serve. To the middle, Moiai. Great point for the middle.
Yeah, the 3 of them between Moahi, Gabadlo, and Key Powell. I mean, I didn't even talk about Yoki. I mean, they have 4 really quality offensive attackers that have really put a lot of stress on the block of the Panthers.
Key Powell with that quick serve. Dykstra, cross court, cut shot, nailed it.
Really, really impressive. Lily Dykstra is just having a match.
25 kills, a career high. Gabadlo touched on the way through. Point Utah.
Another high swing using the blockers' hands, but more importantly, just really working that cross-court seam just makes it really difficult to defend.
Moiai. Booth, second ball, got it!
You love to see it. Again, not something that you're able to do often in a 6-2 is have setter dumps because they can't take it above the plane of the net. Otherwise, it'd be a back row attack. So just a really, really smart heads-up play and well executed from Reese Booth.
Hartman just has to free pass over. What a dive by Dykstra. Chance for UNI. Back row Dykstra. The timing wasn't there. UNI gives up the point, and it's a 2-point 5th set once again.
And just a really good idea to utilize that big. Just didn't lead her there enough, so that's, you know, just an unfortunate misconnection there. But even that, like, Oldendorf has to know that that setter is in the back row and to not jump with her.
Hartman buried it.
What UNI has done so well is having 2 quality lefts that not only have the experience, but they take on that load and they do it so well. Quiet to start, but man, John, have they really come on to play in sets 3, 4, and 5.
Hartman just splits the seam right there and puts it down. Panthers 2 points away from completing a reverse sweep in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
And such a big point here, John. I mean, the 13-11 versus 14-10. I mean, this is a huge, huge point here. And so what we're going to be looking to see is what offense is Utah coming at UNI with. And so right now, I believe you have Gabadlo in the front row. I believe you have your main setter, Wilton the boy, is back in, which means Yoki is also up there with them. So they have 2 quality pins that if you're UNI, you have to get their setter off of the net, because if the setter's on the net, she can go either way, which is, I mean, when you have 2 physical pins in both Yoki and Gabadlo, well, even the boy, whoever it is, you have to find a way to get them off of the net. So if I am UNI, I'm probably going to serve it deep. I'm probably going to go try to chase that shoulder just so that I can get that ball off and onto the 10-foot line.
Critical point to be served by Sydney Golden. If Utah's going to mount a rally, it needs to start now.
And I would probably take 6-1. So right now I'd be targeting number 10 for Utah. I'd target her right shoulder to take the ball away from Gabadlo.
Instead, it goes to Gabadlo. It's an ace. Match point, Panthers.
What a big time play for the Panthers, going at Gabadlo. Just such a great swing at the perfect time.
Gabadlo again, tough take. Passed across, chance to end it for UNI. Hartman! Oh, she's done it!
Incredible, just incredible. Hartman and Dykstra, wow, what an impressive match. Hats off to Utah for an incredible season, but you can't say it enough how much UNI's in-game adjustments and just big, gutsy plays that they came up with at the right time.
Cassidy Hartman completes the reverse sweep for Northern Iowa here in the first round of the NCAA tournament.